Chapter 1, The Key Before the Signal. The Town of Greyhaven had learned how to be key. Not the peaceful key of snowfall or prayer, but a practiced stillness, like a held breath that had gone on for years. Radio were kept low, generators muffled, conversation trimmed to what was necessary. People said it was superstition, but everyone remembered the night the sky had spoken back. Mara Ellison woke before dawn, as she always did, to the soft ticking of the receiver beside her bed. It was an old thing, salvaged and rebuilt from military scrap, its dial worn smooth by her fingers. Most mornings it gave her nothing but static and the distant murmur of atmospheric noise. She listened anyway, listening had become her life. She swung her leg onto the cold floor and leaned closer to the receiver. The signal light flickered, once, twice, then steadied. Mara froze. That had not happened in 3 years. Outside, Greyhaven lay under a pale fog, the river slicing the town in half like a dull blade. The old bridge was still closed, boards warped and rope fraying, but no one crossed it anymore. On the far side lay the exclusion zone, where maps were wrong and compass spun like frightened animals. Mara adjusted the frequency with delicate care. A sound emerged from the static, not a voice, not quite music, but a pattern. A rhythm. Her breath caught. Not again, she whispered, though her hands trembled with something dangerously close to hope. The first time the signal had appeared, it had lasted only 11 minutes. 11 minutes that rewrote the world. Satellite failed, birds fell from the sky. Entire cities vanished from radar, though rubble and survivors remained where the cities had been. Government called it an electromagnetic anomaly. Preachers called it judgment. Mara, then a graduate student in applied physics, had called it impossible. She listened now as the pattern repeated, looping every 47 seconds. Beneath it, fin but unmistakable, was structure, intent. Someone, or something, was trying to say something. Footsteps sounded outside her door. A knock, sharp and urgent. Mara, calm Jonah Reed's voice. You need to hear this. She opened the door. Jonah stood there with his coat half buttoned, hair wild, eyes bright with alarm. In his hands was a portable scanner, its display dancing with the same rhythm pulsing through her receiver. It's back, she said. He nodded, and not just here. He checked 3 other stations. Same pattern, same timing. Mara felt the key of Greyhaven crack, just a little. Within the hour, the town council convened in the old library. Candles burned where electric lights once had. Maps covered the table, marked with red ink and question mark. Mara stood at the center, the receiver humming softly beside her. What if it's another collapse? Someone asked. We barely survived the first. What if it's a warning? Said another. Or a weapon, Mara swallowed. Or a message. They turned to her, open fear varying in their face. The pattern isn't random, she continued. It's evolving, learning, whatever Sandis remember us. Silence followed, heavy and complete. Outside, far beyond the bridge, the fog stirred as if something beneath it had awakened. Chapter 2, Fracture in the Map. By midday, the signal had spread across every functioning receiver in Greyhaven. People gathered in doorway, on rooftops, in the square, listening to the strange cadence leak from speaker and improvised antenna. The key was gone now, replaced by a low, collective murmur of unease. Mara and Jonah set out towards the bridge despite the council's objection. If the signal had a source, and Mara was certain it did, it lay beyond the river. The bridge groaned under there. Wait, boards creaked, ropes swayed, and the river below moved too slowly, as if time itself hesitated there. Halfway across, Jonah stopped. Compass, said. Mara checked hers. The needle spun lazily, then pointed, not north, not south, but inland, towards the exclusion zone. That's new, Jonah muttered. On the far side, the land felt wrong. Trees leaned at impossible angle, their shadows misaligned with the sun. The air carried a faint metallic taste. Mara's receiver pulsed faster here, the pattern tightening, growing more complex. They followed it to the ruins of what had once been a communication tower. Or rather, the idea of one. Metal twisted into spiral, concrete folded like cloth. At the center stood a fracture in the air itself, a shimmer, like it over asphalt, but cold. The signal was loud now. Overwhelming. Mara stepped closer. Image determined, cities folding in on themselves, oceans lie from below, star blinking out like tired eye. And threaded through it all was something else, memory. Familiar streets, names, face, it knows us, she gasped. Jonah grabbed her arm. Mara, step back. But she couldn't. The fracture responded to her presence, expanding, resolving into shapes that hurt to look at. A voice emerged, not spoken, but understood. We did not mean to break you. Mara screamed. Chapter 3, What the signal remember. They walk miles from the tower, lying in tall grass beneath a sky streaked with unfamiliar constellation. Jonah stirred first, groaning. How long were we out? He asked. Mara sat up slowly. I don't know. The receiver lay beside her, intact. Active. The voice returned, gentler now. You are fragment, so are we. Mara closed her eye, and listened, not with her ears, but with everything else. The signal unfolded into understanding. En intelligence vast and broken, spread thin across dimension, had brushed against humanity by accident. The first signal had been a wound. This one was an attempt at repair. You're trying to fix what you did, Mara whispered. Yes, but we need onshore. Image of Greyhaven filled her mind. Of Jonah, of herself. We're the onshore, Jonah sighed softly. The coast became clear all at once. Chapter 4, The Crossing. Greyhaven gathered at the bridge and Mara and Jonah returned. The signal hummed above them, steady and bright. Mara explained what she could, choosing honesty over comfort. It will stabilize the fracture, she sighed. But it needs us. Some of us. No one spoke for a long time. In the end, volunteers stepped forward. Engineers, listeners, people who had lived in the quay long enough to risk something louder. The crossing began at dusk. Light poured from the fracture, wrapping the volunteers in patterns that echoed the signal's rhythm. One by one, they vanished, not destroyed, but translated. When it was Mara's turn, Jonah squeezed her hand. See you on the other side, he sighed. She smiled, terrified and certain all at once. Chapter 5, After the noise. The world did not end. Maps slowly corrected themselves. Compass steadied. The exclusion zone shrank, then dissolved. Birds returned. Radio fell silent. In Greyhaven, the quay returned, but it was different now. Chosen. Peaceful. Some team, late at night, a receiver would flicker. Just once. A heartbeat across impossible distance. And in the spaces between worlds, Mara listened, no longer alone, helping something vast and wounded remember how to be whole.